Calaroga Shark Media.
From Chicago, where we totally aren't padding our road trip expense account today, this is Ballot.
That's right. It was super important we stay over in Chicago in the summer to catch a Cubs game. I mean, see what the voting people are saying about the election. Look, I just spent a week in a convention center. Lay off. Let's hit this. It still looks like some Democrats are trying to give Joe Biden the old political Irish goodbye. After his debate performance last month, which was about as smooth as a cactus in a wind tunnel, a growing number of Dems are politely asking Biden to consider a new hobby. Maybe birdwatching? Or extreme ironing? Anything but running for president again. These worried Democrats are looking at Biden like he's a flip phone in an Apple store. Outdated and unlikely to beat the competition. They're concerned he might not be able to defeat Donald Trump in the fall. You know, Trump, the guy who's facing more charges than an electrician's van. But here's the issue. Biden's already won almost all the delegates. It's like trying to take back a participation trophy after the kid's already shown it to grandma, put it on the mantle, and made it the centerpiece of their college application essay. Good luck with that. You see, the current primary system gives more power to the voters than to party bigwigs. It's like letting the audience choose the next American Idol, instead of Simon Cowell and his tight t-shirts. This system came about after the Democrats' 1968 convention, which was about as peaceful as a Black Friday sale at Walmart. Back then, the Dems chose Hubert Humphrey as their nominee. Humphrey was carrying on LBJ's Vietnam policy, which at that point was about as popular as a skunk at a garden party. There were protests, violence. It was basically the world's worst block party. Now, if Biden does decide to bow out, at least we won't have to worry about Chicago turning into a UFC octagon again. Dana White works for Trump. The Dems are heading back to Chicago this August, which is why I'm here today. You know, scouting locations for the podcast. Places like the Old Town Ale House, and of course the Convention Center. Let's just hope they remember to bring some deep dish pizza and their reading glasses for those, in case of emergency, replace candidate instructions. But let's be real, folks. The chances of Biden voluntarily leaving the race are about as likely as me giving up pizza and becoming a fitness influencer. Kamala Harris, America's first female vice president, she's now the Democratic darling. But is she the savior the Dems need, or just another political train wreck waiting to happen? Democrats are hearing more support for Harris than ever before. Even if Biden doesn't bow out of the race, party leaders want Harris front and center to counter concerns about his age. Because, you know, nothing says young and vibrant like a 58-year-old vice president with the charisma of a DMV clerk. Several Democrats are still worried about Harris's ability to withstand GOP attacks. It's like watching a boxer who keeps tripping over their own feet, but insists they're ready for a title match. Sure, Jan. At a Harris event in North Carolina, voters shared their fears. One voter said we need to fall in love with her. Yeah, because that worked so well with Hillary in 2016. Many voters think it's tougher for a female candidate to beat Trump. I just don't think the country is ready for a woman, said an 88-year-old retiree. Newsflash, we're not talking about becoming a WWE wrestler here. He works for Trump, too. Biden claims he's the best candidate to beat Trump, which is like your grandpa insisting he's the best driver despite needing GPS to find the kitchen. He even misspoke and called Harris Vice President Trump. Freudian slip much? A Washington Post ABC News poll has Harris leading Trump by 2 points. Meanwhile, Biden trails by 1 point. It's like choosing between expired milk and moldy bread. Delicious. If Biden were to step aside, Harris would have a built-in advantage over other Democrats. High name recognition and access to Biden's war chest. It's like inheriting a mansion with a termite problem. In a plot twist that sounds like it's straight out of a political thriller, Ted Cruz is now suggesting that Michelle Obama will swoop in to replace Joe Biden at the top of the Democratic ticket. Because nothing screams 2024 election like a former First Lady stepping into the ring at the 11th hour. According to Cruz, Democrats are losing their collective minds over Biden's less-than-stellar debate performance with Trump. Apparently, they're so desperate they're willing to push Grandpa Joe off the ticket and bring in Michelle Obama or Kamala Harris, as if switching candidates mid-race is a winning strategy and not the political equivalent of changing horses in the middle of a river. Despite Michelle Obama's repeated no thanks to running for office, Cruz is betting she'll change her mind. He's so confident that he's put the odds of Biden not being on the ballot at 80%. A Reuters Ipsos poll claims Michelle Obama would crush Trump by an 11-point margin. But then again, these are the same polls that predicted a Hillary Clinton landslide in 2016. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice? Well, you know the rest. Michelle Obama's camp has been clear. She's not running. Crystal Carson, her communications director, stated, Mrs. Obama supports President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris's re-election campaign. RFK, remember him? He apologized for leaking a private phone call with Donald Trump. Oopsie. Oh my. How could that ever have happened? Apparently, Trump was trying to sweet-talk Kennedy into supporting him. It's like a political version of The Bachelor, but instead of roses, they're handing out conspiracy theories. In the call, Trump says to Kennedy, I would love you to do something. It'll be so good for you and so big for you. But that sounds suspiciously like my gym trainer trying to convince me to do one more set of squats. Kennedy's response? A simple yeah. That's the kind of enthusiasm you usually reserve for when your spouse asks if you want to watch their favorite reality TV show. The plot thickens when we find out it was Kennedy's own son who leaked the video. But wait, there's more. Trump and Kennedy were also caught discussing vaccine conspiracies. It's like they're playing a game of who can make doctors facepalm the hardest. Meanwhile, Donald Trump Jr. is out there teasing that Kennedy might get a spot in a Trump administration. Because nothing says draining the swamp like filling it with more Kennedys, right? You probably won't believe me, but when I'm not providing expert political analysis, I host a podcast called The Weekly Mac, which is all about fast food. Really. And this week we have a cool crossover story. Turns out, Donald Trump's campaign spent over $35,000 on fast food in May. That's right. While Joe Biden was busy kissing babies, Trump was kissing quarter-pounders. The Golden Arches seemed to be Trump's favorite campaign stop, with over $4,700 spent at McDonald's. At this rate, Ronald McDonald should have been his running mate. I hear he's great with kids and has experience dealing with clowns. Trump's team also dropped some serious cash at Jimmy John's. I guess when you're freaky fast at getting indicted, you need a sandwich to match. And let's not forget the $3,140 spent at Chick-fil-A. Trump's apparently trying to make America fried again. If only Trump could get America to be open on Sundays. That's it for today. I'm going to try to take tomorrow off, but the way things have been going, Joe will probably step down as soon as I crack open my third old style. See you Monday, or maybe tomorrow, or maybe later. It's been a crazy week. Portions of today's show were made with the help of AI and a Union Stockyard out of Bartoli's. That's a pizza, not a beer. Geez, how much do you think I drink? Anyway, check out The Weekly Mac. It's a fun pod.